Hello Aquarius, I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to my channel. And this is your weekly reading. Now, this one is a little bit different to the other ones, where this one sort of looks back at what is the energy or the energy pattern that has brought you to where you currently are. Okay, now it's of course a general reading, so you take what resonates with you, and what doesn't resonate with you, you release it with peace and you let it go. And you can order yourself a personal detailed reading at $12. It's 30 minutes downloadable reading. So the way, just to quickly explain to you, the way that a past life reading works. I made a video about past life regression. I'm putting that link for you below. That is sort of like in hypnosis past life regression. So when you do a reading for past life, for me at least, it is looking at what in this world brought you to where you are now, be it in this life or be it in a previous life. Because it's all fine and well to say that, it doesn't matter where you come from in this world, it's where you're going. But it's really in understanding where you're coming from that can give you so much direction as to where you're going, and also to prevent you from sort of making the same mistake twice. Because why would you want to do that, and also I think one of the greatest benefits that I find about a past life reading is it shows you certain sort of patterns that you might have that are not serving you in the best possible way. And of course, once you know what those patterns are, then you can let them go. Okay. All right. So just before we start, just as always, taking a nice deep breath, connecting in our heart space. Stepping into peace. Okay. Giving you some of my spray, Palo Santo, and some crystals just for cleansing the space. There's some for you, some for me, some for the cards, for abundance, prosperity, and success. All right, so the way that we're going to do this together is I'm going to draw for you a crystal oracle card, and this is going to really look at what is the sort of energy that, or the energy pattern that has sort of brought you to where you currently are. This doesn't need to be neither right nor wrong. It's just what is the sort of energy pattern that's kind of been with you all along. And we'll talk about that a little bit again. Cards we'll draw from, this is actually created by a South African lady, what's her name? Robin Ann Pollard. And then I'm also going to draw for you some oracle cards that we're going to finish off with, because we're looking at the past, and the past is obviously what brings us to where we presently are. But it doesn't mean that I can't also, along with my spiritual team or higher self called Smile, it doesn't mean that I can't also give you just a little bit of a beautiful message to also take onwards on your path of life until we meet again, next week. It's your first time. Oh, I've got two cards. Okay, no worries. So if it's your first time to my channel, welcome. And if you have been here before, welcome back. As always, if it resonates with your heart, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. My kitty want to come inside. Are you coming? Hello. Sorry about that. One of the greatest actors ever, who probably is going to want to leave the room again soon. Hey, baby. Do you want to say hi? Where are you? No, apparently not. Okay, so these are your cards that we're going to finish off your reading with. So I'm going to put them over there. And let's get ourselves a crystal oracle card. And this is sort of focusing on what is the energy that brought you, the energy pattern and guidance really that brought you up to this point. Actually, one of my favorite, oh Leo, but you can't do that. No, baby. Look at him. Isn't he the sweetest? No, you can't be up there. Sorry. So Aquarius, and I mean, let's just speak straight here. Aquarius is it's quite a unique sort of deal. All right, there's something quite amazing about Aquarius, something quite rare. And so the card that came out for you, the Crystal Oracle card, is Tanzanite, and it says clarity. Now, for those of you that don't know, Tanzanite is actually a diamond, and it's only found in Tanzania, and it's quite rare. And there's a very limited amount of it available. So there's not a lot of it in the world anymore. And you know, when you look at the whole story of astrology, obviously, I think before you kind of get to the point where you get to Aquarius, you have to go through quite a number of things. It's like you have to pass through a number of gates, okay, before you can get to this specific point. Because the magical thing about Aquarius is that you are able to see a situation for what it is, clarity. You can see it for what it is. You can be honest about what it is. You can have that knowing of what needs to be done, but also have the bravery of heart to do it. You know, where a lot of people will know what needs to be done, but you know, they don't have what it maybe takes to do it. You actually have that, and that's actually a pattern that you have been building towards. And same as Tanzanites, it's still a diamond, but you know, it's not just a diamond that's available that needs to be mined. The availability of it is rare, you know. It's not just everywhere, all over the place. So I feel that through, and not just in this life, but through the ages, through that energy, through all your trials and your tribulations and all this type of stuff that you know came through, that brought you to where you currently are, baby, no man. That brought you to where you currently are. You have gained so much knowledge, and in fact, some of you might not even realize your full potential at this particular point in time. You might not actually realize how much you can contribute to this world, because you know, the other part, of course, you know, generally about Aquarius is that you can be very humble, and you'd rather just, you know, softly kind of retreat into the background generally. Whereas when you can really come out and share with the world, in whatever capacity they're ready to receive, the beauty of who you are, you know, this ancient sort of knowledge. So if you can even say, open yourself to that energy, that, you know, maybe, just maybe, you can contribute something really special to this world. And really just by being yourself, you know, not by doing anything cataclysmically over the top, but by just being yourself, that you've got so much to contribute. If you can come from that place and open yourself to that, you might make such a difference to this world. Okay. All right, so I'm going to draw for you. I'm going to draw just 3 cards for you. See what we got. And then I will clarify that for you. And then, of course, okay, so there's, what is this? 4 cards. Okay, let's stay with 4. See what we have. The artwork on these cards are amazing. Okay. I told you all. Crazy kitten. Okay. But you know, it's so amazing that that Leo would actually do that, the cat. Have you ever found that, and it's such an amazing thing for me, it never ceases to amaze me, when Aquarius is around, You can be sitting there in your little corner, not bothering the world, saying, it's fine, I'm just going to be here, I'm not going to worry about nothing. Somehow people are just naturally attracted to you. They recognize that natural sort of leadership quality that just kind of comes out in you. Where you can contribute so much to the world without even trying. Okay? So let's just see. So 9 of Asahai, and Asahai being those like spears that they used to have back in the in the more tribal days in Africa, the motherland. The moon, of course, carrying incredible energy there, followed immediately by the sun, and then after that, sensuality. Okay. Now, when we speak about sensuality, especially in tarot a lot, it's not so much, it's not so much an essential sense as opposed to discovering who you are and what your true potential is. So I feel for you a pattern there, starting over there with 9 of, Asahai 9 being that, 10 is the end of cycles. And which is also the end into something new. So I feel for a lot of you that before sort of completing a specific cycle, you realize the contribution that you could make to this world, the energy that you could contribute to this world. So before sort of completing a cycle, where everything just ends up being all beautiful and hunky-dory, you get number 9 and you say, what, let's just hold on for a moment, and how can I contribute to the global good? And so life would say to you, what, there's so much that you can do, but before you can know how much you can do, you first need to understand how it feels at certain times to not feel good enough, to feel that you don't add up. So I feel that for you specifically, and this is Aquarius Sun Moon Rising, that you would have almost kind of stepped back from completion or perfection, where you almost in a way could be seen from the outside as falling into like the victim sort of stage, so that you could understand that part, because in the understanding, that is how you get to help more, and then of course consulting the universe, the moon there, and the moon is such a mystical sort of energy, asking from a very humble point, so how do I contribute, and what can I give, and what is required of me, really getting into their emotions and sort of feeling a little broken sometimes. And before you can get to the moment of sun, a moment of light, and then sensuality, realizing the full potential of who you are. The only thing is, though, and that is why I believe that we got this, the Stanzanite card that was drawn for us. The only thing is, though, that in order to be the beautiful, helpful, contributing soul person, human that you are, nothing in this world happens by coincidence. Okay, so here you come out as Aquarius with all your very Aquarius, sort of qualities. So in order to get there, the gates that you sort of needed to pass through, that you had to first go to the stage where you wouldn't quite understand all your, your full potential, even believing that you yourself to not be all of who you are. Needing to feel that, needing to experience that, so you can get to the sun, which is number 10, 19, 1 plus 9 equals 10, fully realizing your full potential again. And so you could fully realize, by first of all knowing not 100, or by first of all moving into that space, almost forgetting all of who you are, or all the potential that you have, in order to then systematically walk and understand the steps that others need to take to get to this point sometimes. which is of course why, as Aquarius, you normally make very beautiful natural healers. And when I say natural healers, whether you become an actual medical doctor or a spiritual practitioner, I know some Aquarius and they do all these amazing things, Kundalini, astrology, just really incredible stuff. But sometimes you would forget that that those are steps that you needed to take to where you are right now, and that was just a step, because sometimes you will still fall into a bit of self-doubt, into doubting yourself and that sort of thing, when in actual fact it was necessary for you to go through those steps to get to where you are, but that is not who you are anymore. Okay, that was just a means to an end. Right. So we're just going to clarify for you that that nine card that we start with, that almost dishonor, and this is, understand that for you to step, for you, and if you look at this should in some way start some way familiar to you, that at some time in time I must have done something that brought this pattern along, and I don't know what it is. So understand that in order for you to almost sort of curb all your potential, even though the card says dishonor, it is probably one of the most honorable things that you could have done. Okay? And it's clarified by Ace of Cups, which is all about abundance and, heart's desires getting fulfilled and prosperity. So you understood why you had to do what you needed to do. It's a very, in a spiritual sense, it's a very mature thing to do. Let's see, what is this card that's falling down here? And let's just put this back. All right, so the moon, which is all about fully investing yourself into everything that's going on, so just in case there's something that you misunderstood, in order to be able to help optimally, you have to understand everything. Okay. I suppose really when you speak about better the devil that you know, but in this instance, better the devil that you know so that you can best assist everybody else. So the moon, which is all about emotions really, is clarified by the Three of Wands. Okay, and so with the Three of Wands, there is obviously that understanding that whatever it is that you want to have, it is already available. By putting the wish out there, or the thought out there, or the hope out there, the thought out there, it's already available to you. Okay, so where you currently are, especially with this Ace of Cups and the Three of Wands next to each other. So many of you understand sort of quite naturally that what you want to have in life, you can sort of have it, you can sort of attract it, and you don't really have to step on top of anybody else to get that. Somehow Aquarius just gets that. You don't really need to be taught in a class or anything like that, and you might maybe make the mistake once, but then you won't make the mistake again. So if you kind of set your mind to something that, a lot of times Aquarius could be seen as stubborn because they don't sort of ease up once they set their mind to something, but it's just because you have the very natural sort of understanding that whatever you want, you can have. It's got nothing to do with feeling entitled or above anybody. It's got nothing to do with that. It's a simple understanding within every cell of your body, within your energy field, that whatever you want, you can have. So you might be seen as very determined sometimes, and as I said, stubborn sometimes, but it's just because you have the very natural, universal understanding that you can have whatever you want to have. Okay? However, sometimes those steps that you took in the past, because you are that natural sort of energy that is always just there to assist, when somebody needs a hand, somehow you're there. all right? Whether you chose or not, you might ask yourself sometimes, why am I even here? You know, what's the deal here? But you do have that sort of universal wisdom, okay? And the way you got that was by stepping away previously, you know, in the previous lifetime, as you were, as we're all ever evolving beings. So as you were evolving towards your next step, you know, and you in your next life you're going to be Aquarius, okay? So in order to get there, and this is probably through several lifetimes, I had to first experience who I'm not, feel those emotions to reach for that higher sort of feeling thoughts to almost re-establish and re-understand who I am, so you could understand how other people will do that. Okay, it's really sort of, it's like to understand the law of attraction. If there's something that it never ceases to amaze me, if there is something that every single Aquarius seems to somehow just understand, it's how the law of attraction works. Kaboom! They just do. Okay, all right, so we go with the sun. So this is when you started to step into your units again, you know, your full potential. And this would probably be, you know, not too many lifetimes ago, 2 or 3, depending on also, you know, the age of your soul. It could have been your last lifetime, but if it is, then it could also be that you might find life very overwhelming because you took a very big step, okay, very suddenly. So the sun there with the 8 of Wands, so yeah, the understanding really of who you are, the balance, the equilibrium. So this is when things started to even out again, okay? When you understood that you can feel the emotions that you have or just created to you by life, but you don't have to be run by the emotions. Okay, so this is the stage where you begin to understand that you can use your emotions sort of like a compass through this life, you know, like a direction shower, but it doesn't have to be the deciding factor of everything, and sometimes lead you into darker paths, you know, because just because you feel all your emotions doesn't always mean that you should follow them, because sometimes they can go through, you know, to darker paths. But then eventually you got to the full realization of who you are with the sensuality card there. So this is who I am, you know. And this, when I say sensuality, it's not so much about being a man or being a woman, but it's understanding that in the full totality of you, you know, before as a soul incarnating into a body again, understanding that you've got a divine male and divine feminine side, that there's more to you than, you know, just what the world almost dictates to you are. Okay? So it's when you finally get to that sort of stage, you know, and there the card even says people to the north, when your north point north, and you understand that, you know, again, you can have the emotions and you can experience the emotions and you can consult your emotions, but that doesn't mean that you have to take logic and completely throw it out the door, but you can combine the two. Okay, so it's in that coming together that you got to where you currently are. And if there's one thing that I can give you from this reading, I'll see what the last card says, but it is to, you can honor the path that brought you to where you are, but also, you know, be mindful when those doubts in life start to creep up, you know, asking yourself, am I actually, that one flipped out there we go, am I actually coming from where I currently am, or could this just be a pattern that I needed to have previously that was shaping me? Okay. And then the sensuality card is clarified by the 7 of Swords, which is the highest vibrational card in the minor arcana of tarot. And it was, if you look at the card, it's about stepping away from so for many of you, it's about stepping away from the things that that you don't really need, you know. Um, just because the fight is coming up, or the confrontation is coming up, or the problem is coming up, or whatever's coming up, just because it's coming up doesn't mean that you have to participate in it. You can say, you know what, this is actually silly, you know, this is kind of silly. um, it doesn't serve my higher purpose. All right. And I think above all, if I can finish off with that, do not devalue who you are. All right. Um, you come from a really incredible path. It would have taken you many lifetimes, many tribulations, many trials to get to who you are and to where you are. And as your um, crystal oracle card said, they're having the clarity about who you are. Because yes, you are a diamond like everybody else, because everybody I believe in this world is a beautiful diamond. But you've got a rare sort of quality about you. And here's a simple thing about this world. If you were born to stand out, no matter how much you try to fit in, you won't. Because your reason for incarnation is to stand out. Okay? That is your purpose. That is your point to being here. Okay? So through all that you've come through and worked towards getting where you are now, you can just as well fully embrace that. Otherwise, you might find yourself going through life looking for happiness all through your days and never actually finding it. Okay. Let's see, what are your oracle cards? We're going to look at these. Okay, we're going to look at this one first. Voyage of the Heart. And it says, love flows through you and to you. Okay. So it is when you can step into that space where you fully value, this is what I've been working many lifetimes towards getting, you know, and through many phases. In some you might have been male, in some of you were female, in some of you were human, in some of you might have been a plant, in some of them you might have been an animal, you might have been from a different ethical background, you know, from a different country. Then you were short, then you were tall, then you were fat, then you were thin. You were all these, you went through all these many things. Voyage of the Heart. You went through all these many things to where you currently are, to this beauty, because your soul knew what it was creating towards. One of the biggest rewards that you can really give your soul right now is to just live the authentic beauty of who you are and who you took so many lifetimes to sculpt. Okay? And I love these cards. These are like daily motivational cards, but they're quite funny. And it says, there is a deeper reason, or sometimes they're funny, there is a deeper reason for each of your questions. Seek it. Okay? So for all of the things in life that sometimes doesn't make sense to you, and you don't understand, how is it that you are asking these questions while other people don't even seem to be aware of it? It's because the path that you walked has been different. It's because so many things seem familiar to you that others don't seem familiar. And yes, everybody's path is divine, it's beautiful, it's blessed. But your path, your soul's goal was different. Therefore, your path was different. Your walk was different. So you will wonder about different things. And that is the beauty about life. It's about discovering. Okay? All right, and then there are two angel oracles that came for you. The first one says, creative project. Your soul longs to express itself in creative ways. We, the angels, are guiding you to infuse artistry and creativity into your life. Creative expression makes you feel alive and excited and reignites passion towards your life. Okay? And how perfect is this one that we're ending off with? It says acceptance. See yourself and others through the eyes of the angels. And I would add to that the entire universe. Okay? With unconditional love and acceptance, and in this way, you inspire and lift everyone to their highest potential. So that really summarizes everything that we've been saying, that it's about fully accepting that you are a major deal, as is everybody, really, but everybody's a major deal in a different way. You've got that natural sort of leadership quality, even if you are more quiet, okay, and more reserved. So it's about fully accepting that sometimes you actually do know better because the path you walk was so different. And it's about sometimes just accepting it within yourself, which then naturally allow life to unfold the next chapter in life for you easily and effortlessly. Okay. So Aquarius, thank you so much for your time, for your energy, for your love, for your light. May the reading serve you in abundantly positive ways. Remember, if you want to have a personal detailed reading, $12 for a 30-minute downloadable video that I sent to you. I do have quite a lot at the moment that I need to get through, and I never rush my readings. So just to let you know that there might be a few days that you need to wait if you do order it. But meanwhile, you're more than welcome to follow me on Facebook or on Instagram. The links are down below, where I give you as much motivation as I'm able to, often on a daily basis. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, but as much as I want to, know that I always think about you. And I invite you to subscribe to the channel if it resonates with you. I've got a reading coming up for you every week. Namaste. Love and light.